to this here, I'm on another scale. I never fold. That's a no-no, no-no. It's different levels to this here, I'm on another scale. I never fold. That's a no-no, no-no. Here we go again.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Homiletix, and I'm on my way to pick up my co-pilot for the next episode of Bending Corners with Homiletix. Stay tuned. All right, here it is. We got Dr. Aisha Bailey with us today, all the way from ASK Pediatric Services, and she's about to bend a few corners with Homiletix. Stay tuned. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. And I want to start off with you actually telling people where you from originally and what is your current location now, and where have some of your travels taken you across this great country of ours.
So I am originally from Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Where I was born and raised till about 9 years of age. Okay. And then I am currently in Tallahassee. And in terms of my travels, my parents, we were blessed. So my parents took us traveling like on vacation a lot when I was younger.
Okay.
So I initially started off kind of going to Mexico routinely every summer. They took us to Canada. And then as I got older, I would say like one of the craziest places I went to, or most memorable places, was Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I was 21.
Okay,
I was
well,
20
cool.
to 21. So I stayed there for about 6 months and traveled around the country. I was in the rural area, and then kind of a high density area, and then a suburban area. And then during that time, though, it allowed me to go to Europe. So I've been to France, England. I've also been to Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, things like that, and then also Venezuela. So
your travels throughout Africa, because I heard you mention that you stayed around 6 months.
Yeah.
So that actually allowed you time enough for you to actually study the culture, the language, and learn the basics, so you could be able to maneuver through that particular area. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so Dr. Bailey, the next question that I want to ask you is, I want to ask you a little bit about your educational background, and even beyond your educational background, I want to know, we all know that you studied medicine, but we want the specific medicine that you study and what you're doing now within the community. So just start off with your educational background, colleges, and different things that you've attended like that, okay?
All right, I have a list though. So okay,
let's go. Me too.
So I started off in kindergarten at Milton Academy in Milton, Massachusetts. Okay. And then we moved to Dallas when I was about 9 years old. And then I did a year at a private school called Cornerstone. Went to Hockaday, which was an all-girls school in Dallas. Okay. And then moved back up to Connecticut, where I was in the public school system.
What part of Connecticut was that?
Westport, Connecticut.
Westport, no, Okay, cool.
And so I was there until about 9th or 10th grade. And I would say at that point, it just got really... The pivotal moment for me was the Rodney King riots. I was in a predominantly white community, and I kind of didn't have a falling out with my friends, but really...
It was just an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Been there.
So it was kind
been
of...
There, done that.
At that time, I just realized, I needed a change, and looked into summer programs. So I was able to get into a summer program at Phillips Exeter Academy in Exeter, New Hampshire. And then from there, really just wanted to stay on. But I ended up having to come back for a year in Westport and then finish up, and then went to Exeter my junior and senior years. From there, went to Brown University, studied English Lit, And then after going to Zimbabwe, I had already known that I wanted to be a doctor, but that inspired me even more to be a doctor. And so after that, I did a post-bac pre-med at Columbia University.
Wow.
And then during that time, September 11th happened. So when that ended up happening, I had the opportunity to work on the 9/11 identification process. And from there, that kind of, I think it was dealing with the patients, seeing a lot of death. I was able to kind of channel that energy into making a greeting card company, which then turned into a doll company.
Yeah, I saw the dolls.
Yes, and some of my characters are in my office now. Yes. And then I got into medical school and went to medical school at UMD&J, School of Osteopathic Medicine in Stratford, New Jersey. Then I did residency out in Neptune, New Jersey at Jersey Shore Medical Center. Yeah. And then came back to UMD&J, which then became Rowan School of Osteopathic Medicine, to do a fellowship in neuromuscular medicine. So now I'm a doctor of osteopathy. And so there are two types of doctors in this country.
Please break that down for my listeners.
So there are two types. So the first type is MDs, or medical doctors.
Okay.
The second are doctors of osteopathy, or DOs. We essentially go to the same amount of medical school, but it's that doctors of osteopathy have an extra course. And in that course, we learn how to use our hands and other skills to bring the body into alignment, to help it further heal itself. So what that means is, even though I'm a general pediatrician, there's an extra set of tools that I have and tricks that I have to kind of bring the body into alignment, help my patients to heal.
So do you mind if I ask you this quick question?
Sure, go ahead.
Because you said that you're using your hands.
Yeah.
So you're actually helping the patient put their body back into natural alignment. Is that correct?
That's it.
Okay.
That's really what it is. Now, I still prescribe medications, so most of my parents, patients don't know that I have this.
Okay.
You know, even though I am offering the service to the community as well, and do see patients on Tuesdays and Fridays. But yes, I do use my hands. So what that means is, if a patient comes in, they're a newborn, parents are saying that they're not latching well or eating well, I can use my hands to kind of release kind of the occiput, we say, or treat different parts of their body to help bring it into alignment, to help them relax a little bit more, to help that flow move through their body, so that then they're able to feed a little bit better.
Okay.
And my patients generally don't know that. They just know that they feel a little bit better.
Okay.
Parents are like, okay, but they don't really know, and I don't really.
You actually just throwing it in there for them.
Sometimes.
It's just a bonus somewhere. And then for people that don't know, she do work in pediatrics. I think that helped them kind of understand, because you keep saying the patient. So they need to know that you work in pediatrics, yes, and she do work with kids. And also tell them, because I think that someone was telling me that you just got your ranking throughout the city, and you was ranked. Talk about that a little bit, because I bet that was you were like wow, right? Were you? You were?
I was really shocked, because
really?
I'm a solo practitioner, and I know that I am not from here originally. I know that those awards are kind of.
You're an outsider.
I'm an outsider.
Kind of like me too. I get it.
And so I really wasn't expecting to win, but I will say, or at least get ranked as high as I did. But I will say I put my heart and soul into my practice, and the reason why I wanted to start my practice was going back to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I would see legions of children dressed in their uniforms, and they would sing in school. They were bright, they were happy, they were beautiful, and it would move me to tears. And so I wanted to inspire and uplift children in any way that I could. And so I'm trying to do that through medicine. I'm trying to do it through my dolls. Anything that I do, it's really focused on inspiring and uplifting children. And that's my life. That's my passion. So this is really why I take such pride in the practice. And I think a lot of times people will come in and they'll say like we give kids ducks when they leave and things like that, little rubber ducks or little toys. And they're like, you know, people take that stuff for granted, but these are extra special touches that I try to put on my patients and give to my patients so that I can put a smile on their face and help them heal.
I like it. So while we're here, we are talking about medicine, but she also she owns a doll company, like she make dolls.
Yeah.
So I want to try to plug that as well.
Okay.
Could you actually talk about how did the dolls come about, and what was the process that you took and actually to turn that into a company?
Okay. So, like I said, so I worked at the 9/11 identification process, and it was really hard just talking to parents every day, families every day who had been affected. And I also would sit in on autopsies, and I think that just kind of weighed down on me, just talking to parents, families. So I would go home at night and then just draw. I would draw all sorts of characters, and from those characters, I started making greeting cards.
So you would draw, like you said draw?
Draw different characters.
So you would draw it on paper?
I would, yes.
Okay.
So I'd make all these different characters, and then I started making greeting cards. And I'd share them with people. My family was key in that because they kept saying, you know, these are really good, you need to show them somewhere. And because I lived in New York City at the time, I was able to apply and get admitted to the National Stationery Show.
Okay.
And so that was...
Stationery as far as cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so that's where I first showcased my work. And the first year went well. And so I was really kind of surprised again. So that next year, because this was about 2004, I realized that there was a need for birth announcements. Okay. And so what I started doing is, because at the time...
I got it already. You ain't got to say less. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead and
So
tell us about it. I already know what you're doing.
With birth announcements at the time, the fashion was to use animals to be more diverse. So what people would do is they would use just animals, giraffes, things like that, for babies who look differently from other. So I didn't like that. I wanted babies to be seen for who they were, and I wanted to create all different types of characters. And that's how my Aisha babies came, because I created a line of about 16 different babies, and then realized that I wanted children to have a little version of that birth announcement that they could snuggle with. So I created the 10-inch version of my birth announcement, if you will, a 10-inch plush 3D version. So that at the time meant that I linked up with a manufacturer. I was able to correspond with them, send them, the details and everything, and then we had the baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm floored. So, Dr. Bailey, last question that I want to ask you is this. I want you to tell them how people can find you across social media, because there could be somebody out there within your area that's looking for a doctor that works in pediatrics. And I want you to tell them how they can reach out to you across social media. Also, I want you to tell parents how they can also find you in order to purchase your dolls. Okay?
Sure.
Okay.
So first off, for Ask Pediatrics, you can go to our website, www.askpeds.com. We also have a Facebook page, which would be /AskPeds. And then also for Instagram, the same thing. It would be Ask Peds. Then for the neuromuscular medicine or osteopathic medicine, I have a website for that, and that's www.hosteo.com. And then for my Aisha babies, we have a website. It's www.aishababies.com. That's ISHABABIES.com. We also have, we're also on Instagram as well under the same name. And we also have a little YouTube channel, even though, And we also have our Ask Peds YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. We are at Ask Pediatrics, one word, 1045. And I've put out a bunch of different videos and things like that. So even if you aren't a patient of ours, we do answer basic medical questions just to help you through. Because I noticed that there's a lot of misinformation out there.
All about the community, you understand?
And I also have a blog because in my spare time, sometimes, you feel a certain way. I want to talk about certain things or certain issues. That is Dr. Bailey, one word, .art.blog as well. Mm-hmm.
And guess what, y'all? Dr. Aisha Bailey have been bending corners with your boy Homiletix. Peace.
Different levels to this here, I'm on another scale. I never vote, that's a no-no, no-no. It's different levels to this here, I'm on another scale. I never fold, that's a no-no, no-no.